special topic that we're going to discuss today. Today, I am blessed and honored to have my guest, none other than my own oldest granddaughter, Nikera. And she's here visiting me from Michigan, and we decided to come on today and have some grandmother-granddaughter kind of talk, and just talk about life and talk about things and share a little bit. I found out on the way over here that Nikera wants to have her own show, and she has started a YouTube channel and a YouTube show. And so we'll hear more about that and other things. But usually I tell my own stories, but today I found an interesting story on the internet. And we'll start out with that story. And that story was a grandmother and a granddaughter, and they were having their conversation and they were talking. So as the story goes, again, this is not one of my stories, and I couldn't find anybody to credit it with, but I thought it was a very nice story that we're going to talk about life, and we'll talk about things, and so we'll open up with this story. As the story goes, the granddaughter came to visit her grandmother, and she was very, very distraught that day, and she had been crying, and things just hadn't been going on very well in her life at all. And so her and her grandmother had a very good relationship. So she went to Grandma's house. Grandma sat her down and they had their tea and everything. And she began to tell her grandma about how her job wasn't going very well, her relationships were going sour, her friendships and everything in the world was just falling apart. Well, the grandmother rose from the table and she got 3 pots out of the cabinet and she filled them with water and put them on the stove. In one pot, she put a carrot. In another pot, she put an egg. In the third pot, she put some coffee beans. And they began to simmer for about 20 minutes as they began to continue talking and sharing about life and sharing about things that were going on. And the granddaughter began to feel a little bit better because there's nothing like a conversation with Grandma. After a while, the granddaughter said, well, Grandma, why did you put those things on the stove? So the grandma gets up and the granddaughter gets up and they go over to the stove. And the grandma fishes out the carrot. And the carrot, she said, feel it. The carrot was soft and mushy and pliable, not like when it got put in there. And the grandmother just said, you see, in life, when the pressure hits us, when the trials and the tribulations hit us, we can either be like this carrot. The carrot started out hard and sturdy, but the trials of life made it soft and mushy. The granddaughter said, oh, I see. Then she went to the next pot and fished out the boiled egg. And the granddaughter said, well, what's the story about that? The grandma said, well, you see, before the trials of life hit this egg, it was fragile and soft and just very fragile. But when the trials of life began to beat up against it, it decided to get hard and to stand the trial, and it became harder. And the granddaughter said, I see. And she said, well, what about the coffee? She said, well, you see, taste it, sip it. She said, when the trials of life hit the coffee, it decided to change the situation. You see, the coffee changed the water instead of changing itself. And the granddaughter could see, so when we have trials and we have problems in our lives, we can choose, huh? She said, yes, daughter, you can choose. You can choose to get soft and fall under it and fall apart. You can choose to allow those trials to make you harder and sturdier, or you can simply choose to change what's around you. I just thought that was a powerful little story because since my granddaughter and I have been together, she's been here coming up on a week, and she's going to stay a while and help me with some things in my office and just be there with me, you know, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. And we talked a lot about life, and I'm a baby boomer. She's a Generation Z, I think, right?
Yep.
And I was looking today to see what some of the differences were in that. And I've been able to see some differences in how we see things. But today we just wanted to talk about life as it relates to grandmothers and granddaughters or grandparents and grandchildren or just life, period. So I want to introduce you to my oldest granddaughter. Her name is Nikera. And she's going to greet you.
Hi, I'm Nikera. And I'm here from Michigan, just visiting right now. I may move to Cleveland to be closer to my grandmother. Right now, we're just enjoying each other.
Enjoying each other.
Right now,
and it's really sad when you live out of town. We've seen each other, of course, several times a year, but it's been a few years before she was able to come and spend some time with me and do some things. And we always have our little rituals and things that we do. And so we came up with this list this morning. And it's called, with the COVID and everything, it's called 10 Things to Do with Your Grandmother. Number 1, and you may not agree, but just sometime in your life, dress like your grandmother. We have the same dresses on. We're not going to say who wears it better because we already know. But anyway, it's fun to do fun things with your grandmother. I remember my grandmother, and I was supposed to bring a ring that she gave me years ago. She lived to be 99 years old, and that was in 1998, maybe, or 2000. A long time ago. And I remember that my grandmother was the one that taught me how to do all the artsy, crafty things and all that kind of things, how to crochet, how to sew, how to paint and all that kind of things, because my mom was busy working, taking care of us. So we came up with 10 things to do with your grandmother. The first one is dress alike. Why not just have a photo shoot with your grandma with the similar clothes or similar color, whatever, and just make some memories and make some pictures. What do you have to say about that, Nikera?
I actually like that idea. I like that a lot. I feel like we could take more pictures together. I don't think we've took a picture together since probably Georgia. That's
too long. That's a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
So make sure if you're blessed to still have your grandmother or a grandmother figure, make sure you just get over there and take some selfies together. You mentioned Atlanta. Number 2 on our list is take a trip together.
We've taken a lot of trips together. Yeah. A lot of trips together.
And one of the most memorable ones was we rode the bus to Atlanta.
Yeah,
didn't we?
We rode the mega bus. The bus kept getting delayed. And then we saw that man in Georgia with that truck. He had all type of stuff on there. He had chips and cookies and toothbrushes.
Oh yeah.
He had a whole bunch of stuff. I even think he sold food on that truck.
On that truck, he was making a living, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most things I remember about that trip is living in different states while your grandchildren are growing up. You don't realize how much they have grown. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, when this bus stops, we got to do the GPS and figure out a cab or figure out these kind of things or figure out, what we got to do next. So we get off the bus and we're put into this park and everything. And I say, nah, we got to figure out such and such. She hands me her phone. She has already GPSed the route. She has already called the cab. She has already done. I'm like, It makes you kind of proud because you realize that your child, her mother, raised them right with me being out of town. And I was really, really proud of her. And that trip was so special. And I don't even think we took many pictures then. I might have a few. So number 2 is take a trip with your granddaughter or grandchild. Now, number 3 is recipes. So what recipes have we done together?
Oh, we've baked cookies together. Most recently, we did banana blueberry, I can't say it, banana blueberry bread.
And it came out pretty good, didn't it?
It was so delicious.
Well, we have to make one to take it back to the person in the store when we were buying the ingredients. They made us promise that we would bring them a slice, but with the 3 of us in the house, it didn't have a chance to get past 2 days. Another memory that I have is when you're about 14, maybe 13 or 14 when you came down and you spent Christmas with me. And I showed you how to bake Christmas cookies. Well, we baked cookies all day long, but we still had some dough left. So at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm smelling something baking, and it's like, what is going on? And I get up, she's in there just baking the rest of the cookies. A night owl. But those make precious memories. My children's grandmother, they spend time with her, Grandma Rose, and she has taught them her collard greens recipe, her fried corn, her dressing, and all of those things. So take this time with your grandmothers or elderly relatives to learn their recipes and share them while they're able to cook them with you and make a precious memory. My grandmother also taught me a lot of crafts, and so Nikera just happened to mention this trip that she wanted to learn how to sew.
Yes, I want to learn how to sew, start making my own clothes. I want to learn how to crochet. I want to learn the publishing. It's so many things that I want to learn from my grandmother.
Wow. And you guys know my health story, that when I was sick and with the stage 4 cancer everywhere, the main thing that I thought about is, have I left enough of me with people around me? I never taught anybody how to run my office, how to handle my clients. I mean, if something had happened, I have over 200 clients, it would have been just a chaotic mess. So she's down here to learn my office, learn everything I know how to do, so that if I decide to retire early or whatever happens, that somebody knows how to go in my office, access the files, and continue on. The Bible talks about us leaving a legacy with our children. We think it's oftentimes that it's money or cash. A lot of times it's just the things that you know how to do. The gifts and the talents that you have are more likely also some of the gifts and talents that they have. So we're going to start out making masks. Not necessarily dresses right away, but when I was her age, I made pretty much most of my clothes, and I would love to make unique clothes and different things, except for there was this one young lady in high school. Well, she's not in high school. She's 24 right now. We would always pick out the same material and make similar outfits. I guess we had the same taste, but we're going to start out with masks and then go learn to do other things as well. And that ties into number 5, learn a skill. I'm teaching her how to do publishing and taxes and 501c3s and all that good kind of stuff.
I'm excited.
Excited?
I'm excited.
Another thing, which would be number 6, is discuss life with your granddaughters, your grandchildren. Discuss life. Because life from a baby boomer is a whole lot different than a Generation Z. One of the first discussions we had was accepting people as they are. And I think she was shocked to realize that as a minister, I have a lot of friends that are different lifestyles than I have different pasts than I have. And I've learned to not judge them in a critical way, but everybody has a story. And if we had had the same story they had growing up, we may have been in the same position. And so it seemed that my granddaughter and I shared the thing of rooting for the underdog. The person that's not given the same card, dealt the same cards as we have. And so we discussed life, and I think I was pleasantly surprised of her views on things, as she probably were too. You probably didn't know I had so many friends in the street.
No, I didn't. I don't think you knew I had too many friends in the street either.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's as an evangelist, the Bible tells me to go out into the hedges and the highways and compel them to come in, But it's just so many needs there. I started the homeless ministry about 6 weeks ago, and I never knew the true plight of not having a place to lay your head. And sometimes at night when I stop working and I realize that so-and-so is out on the street, I just can't rest completely knowing that somebody else is in need, and I'm comfortable and I'm there. So we have to discuss life and see where we stand on different things, and just to get to, know your grandchildren, get to know what they feel and what their friends are about, and not judge them for their friends, what they're about. But we also, as grandmothers, we do share the truth of life with them too. My grandchildren, they know the Bible, they know what I believe in, they know that. But yet, at 24, you're making your own choices of friends, your own people that you hang around with. And as grandparents, if you're included in knowing that, you can help guide your grandchildren when they need the guidance. Here's another one, social media. I noticed my granddaughter has about 5 pages, and I think 4 of them I don't want to be on. But how do you feel sharing your social media with your grandparent?
I actually like sharing the Facebook with you. I feel like it gives me an opportunity, with me being out of state and you being here, I feel like it gives me an opportunity to still be a part of your life. Okay. And it gives you an opportunity to still be a part of mine, because we don't know what we do day to day, but at least the little post or the little pictures that we do post, it still brings us closer.
All right. I like that too. Yeah, I like that. And I have other grandchildren, and it is. Sometimes I may not check their page every single day, but every now and then I'll just say, let's see what De'Aaron is doing or what Tonio and Carlton are doing. Mm-hmm. And the other grandchildren aren't quite old enough. Well, Yanni's old enough, but aren't quite old enough to be on Facebook. But I thank God that they're respectful too. They're respectful, and so block me from some things if you need to. We also talked about friends. We talked about my friends. We talked about your friends. And when you know who your grandchildren's friends are, it helps you know a little bit about them. And I had a few questions about some friends, but you gave me some answers that made sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'd rather know you have all kinds of friends than not know you have all kinds of friends. Another thing that out of these 10 things that you can do with your grandmother, try reading the same book. Try reading the same book. Fortunately, we read the same books because she's one of my editors for the publishing company. Mm-hmm. And so she reads a lot of the books even before I read them, because she's typing them and editing them, and that helps us be able to have topics to discuss that we probably normally would not have ever thought to discuss. But it helps you to get to know who your grandparent is and who your grandchild is when you read the same books. You did a couple of books. What were you thinking when you read some of these books? My grandma publishes this kind of stuff?
I didn't think that, but it was a lot of Bible scriptures in the book, so that worked for me. And I'm not sure. I didn't really think too much into it. Not too much.
Okay, because most of the books are people's life stories, and it talks about women that had gotten raped at young ages or strung out on drugs at young ages. But this is reality. We can't hide the truth. We don't sugarcoat the truth. We let people know that certain things happen to you in life, but you don't have to get beat down the rest of your life for what happens to you. That you can still enjoy your life. You can still be a productive citizen. You can still have dreams and goals. And I love publishing people's life stories because I get a chance to talk with them, even as a minister, and help them heal through sharing these things in their lives. A lot of times I get so far into somebody's book and their story, and they get afraid. I can't publish this. I don't want to publish this. I don't want the world to know this. But during the unveiling of the things that you really had nothing to do with, God sends healing. and healing begins to take place, and people begin to realize I was just a child. That was not my fault. And they begin to forgive the person and forgive themselves for choices that they may have made, and celebrate the person that God has created them to be. We all have things to celebrate, that we can celebrate and do things. We talked about this and we kind of laughed, but we want to clarify. They said you should have secrets with your grandmother.
Yes, you should have secrets. You should be able to talk to your grandmother and know that anything that you tell her, well, not anything, because some things do need to be out there, but a lot of the things you can confide in her and trust that your secrets are safe. And there's no judgment. There's no judgment.
Maybe counseling, but not judgment. And that's the beautiful thing. I love my mother. Of course, I love my mother, but my grandmother and I had special time together, because sometimes my mom and dad were working 3 or 4 jobs to make sure that we stayed in a very nice place, make sure we always had the things that we needed, and just always was there. And so my grandma was there for us and all the different things. My grandmother played the piano, the drums, the accordion, the harmonica, the kazoo, and the guitar. And so now I play at the saxophone, the piano, the organ, the harmonica, and the guitar. And so the time that my grandmother spent with me, even though she's been gone a long time, we can leave things with our future generations that are always money. Yeah, I'd like to leave you a little money, but if I don't leave you a little money, I will have left you some skills and some memories and some things that you can figure out how to make a living if all else falls through. Mm-hmm. My father, your great-grandfather, used to always tell us to learn how to do at least 5 things. So if your job isn't working, you can figure out something else, how to work. So what are some of your goals that you have? I see that you write your visions down and write your things down and do your vision boards and everything. So what are some of your goals at 24?
At 24, I want to be my own boss, and I'm not really good at talking it out loud, but I want to be my own boss and possibly create jobs for other people. I want to be successful, very, very successful. And I think the only thing that's like really holding me back with all of my goals is the fact that I want to do everything. I want to do everything.
You are your grandmother's granddaughter.
I want to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go places. I want to I am opening up a boutique, women's, men, and children's clothing. I want to open up a hair store with a hair salon, nail salon in it. So I'm in the process of teaching myself how to do nails. I'm practicing more on doing hair. There's a lot of things. I want to go back to school for business. Like I said, I want to do the publishing. I want to write my own book by the time I'm 32.
Why so long? You're still making your chapters, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still making my chapters. I just figured by the time I'm 32, I will be stable. That's how I want to be. I want to be stable by 32. I want to own my house, own my car. I want to own everything I touch. I want...
Not getting so much debt. And I know your mom has you in credit restoration. She declared one year that we were all going to have 850 credit scores, and so she works with you with that. Mm-hmm. And that's beautiful. And it's really exciting for me to see that you have dreams and goals besides 2 or 3 years away. I talked to some young men, and the topic was, why are you guys having 5 and 6 babies? And at that time, the young man told me, he says, because I don't see living past 25. I can walk down the street and get shot. I could do this, get put in jail. He just did not see or have any hope or any expectation past 25. And I think at the time they were probably maybe 21. And so the world has so many things to discourage a young person. It's really good to see a young person have goals and make those steps toward those goals. And you already know it was probably coming, but one of the goals that I like to share with people is, have you made a choice for your eternal goal? The thing, life is here for us to enjoy and have fun and explore things. And I probably had about 12 different careers in my lifetime because I'm like you. I like trying a lot of different things. So we can enjoy life as long as they are good things and productive things and things that make us happy and things that don't hurt anybody else. Go out there and explore. On YouTube, you can learn how to do pretty much anything. I bought me 2 saxophones. I bought the alto sax, and then I bought the tenor sax to see which one I like. All of my lessons have been on YouTube. Same with the guitar, same with everything. So I'm going to show you some sewing lessons, but I'm going to show you how to really use YouTube and enjoy life without paying a whole lot of money. So what would you say to another young person that may be 24 or 22 that has no clue of what they want to do with their life?
I would tell them to not be scared and not to let other people's input and opinions define who you are. Sometimes you just gotta go out there and you just gotta make stuff happen for you. You may want people, like you may have sisters and brothers and friends who you want to go on journeys with you, but everybody's walk of life is different. You gotta do what's best for you and what works for you. And don't be afraid. Don't regret it. Don't have fear. And I will also say that if you do something, do it your best. And then if you still want that person to come and join you on your journey, show them what you've done. Show them all that you've created. And then that might bring their potential out. They might be like, oh, well, Nikira can do it. And, she showed me this and she showed me that. So, I might give it a try. Just do what makes you happy.
That's good. And you're talking to a young lady that has her own apartment, her own car, her own business, no kids, and she's making life happen for herself. And I just thank God that I'm able to take this time to just spend some weeks or months or whatever. If she moves down here or whatever she decides to do, that when the time comes that I retire or whatever, I can feel confident knowing that I left a little bit of something. Not 9 kids, but a little bit of something with somebody to make a difference in their lives. We want to thank you again for tuning in to Just Telling My Stories with our special guest, Nikira Allen from Michigan, my oldest granddaughter. And please tune in every other Friday, and we want to share things with you, just telling our stories. Have a great weekend. Thank you.